Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the BDRP. I'm your host, D. Doss. Glad to be back with you guys. I just want to give you a couple of quick updates on everything that's taken place. Um, First, we are still dealing with the channel being demonetized, which, along with that, it brings out a lot of nonsense that comes along with that, especially going as far as we have. I'd like to thank you all for the 8,000 subscribers. It's been fantastic. Um, yeah, so where do I start at? First, next weekend will be the launch of BDRP Europe, and I'm pleased to tell you guys, you're the first to know that my good friend Bob over there in Germany is going to be helping me handle the load. He's going to be finding not only eyewitnesses but other investigators as well as Kirsten, both fantastic investigators. Kirsten's only been doing it a year and it's already put together a wealth of evidence in her hometown in Germany. And what could I say about Bob that hadn't already been said? Anybody who knows him knows the depth of his knowledge and his evidence is without equal. He's taken it more seriously than I've ever seen anybody as far as his equipment that he's invested in and everything. He's retired now, but I'd like to publicly thank him for uh, being involved with the BDRP Europe still, especially giving everything he's been through with this field of research and everything he's had to deal with. Uh, Also, for everyone in the past year who've donated to our PayPal account, paypal.me/BDRP. I was putting it together. It's actually edited and ready to go now, but I was going to give it another night. People asked me to. So for anybody who's donated $1 in the past year, I have a special video, and I'm going to send you a private link to it just to show that I appreciate you guys. You know, a lot of the times I wouldn't do this if it weren't for people like you, which I call the producers, because you've helped me produce a lot of this stuff. You've given me the time and the opportunity to put together the edits, to go out in the field. A lot of that's paying for my gas, paying for film, so on and so forth. Another announcement I'd like to make is Mr. Kerry Arnold from Bigfoot Odyssey will be coming down to my neck of the woods in about a week, and we're going to shoot the Oklahoma BDRP DDoS documentary or whatever it's called. I have no idea. I talked to him the other night, and I thought it was going to be about the history of the area, but he said it's going to be about me and my personal research. So I guess that's pretty humbling. Um, I don't know. It's pretty gnarly, everything that I've been afforded. I'd like to thank Richter Riolo. Um, he suggested me for a television show that I had an interview for with the casting producer. We're waiting now for a call back. It probably won't happen, but if it does, you know, I don't care either way. I like having the freedom that I do on this channel. And for those of you who've asked me in the past, and I've kind of been not judgmental, skeptical, I guess is the word. I've been skeptical about some of the things that people say are going on as far as the YouTube channels and stuff, but now I'm dealing with it. So I do apologize because they're on some nonsense. Uh, but as I said, it's not deterred me. The Lord's blessed me to move forward in a positive way in this field, and it's only going to get better. It's getting better all the time. Mr. Jody Cook reached out to me recently. Most of you know who this gentleman is. I'm a very great admirer of his body of work and evidence that he's gathered, and him and his team actually has, I think, 600 members worldwide. Um, he's reached out to me, and we're going to be doing some things together. Uh, just like Kat North Carolina one said, it's the thought police. But like I said, and I can't express it enough. Thank you guys for sticking with me, for helping me get to 8,000 subscribers, for jumping in and donating on the super chat and the PayPal. Like, and even if you haven't, just like contributing, because you're not just watching. You guys, a lot of you guys and gals who aren't in this field whatsoever, who are just followers of the cryptid subject, have given me ideas that I've put into that I put into action in my own field research, and it's paid off. And these are people with no experience whatsoever out in the field, that all someone had to do is listen to them. That simple. All they have to do is listen to them, not just write them off as being some quote unquote fan, which I have no fans. I have subscribers and I have friends. That fan word, I don't like being deified. You know what I mean? I'm just a god just like you, which I love presenting to people, because for whatever reason, before I got into this, everybody thought it was some sort of a subject that was segregated to a certain group of people. That's not so, folks. If you have the initiative to go out there in the woods, you hit me. I mean, I'm behind on my emails. I apologize for that too. You guys have been bombarding me, which is awesome. It's a good thing. But I'm consistently like a month behind. So I appreciate everyone's patience. And I do appreciate it, because a lot of you guys give me forth like just outright trust. And I won't play with that. I know it's something serious. I know a lot of you that I've talked to personally on the phone and through email and correspondence and stuff have went through a lot of BS in this field. I just want to go out there, get as close to the creature as possible, and decipher what information is given to me to you guys as forthcoming as possible. And I'm proud to say that's what me and everyone who's associated with this channel has done thus far, and that's what we'll continue to do, monetization or not. But thank you all for jumping in here. They changed things up on YouTube. It's strange. The chat's in a different place. Anyways, Data Quester, Bigfoot, the Truth Told. What's up, little brother? Mr. Brown Dwarf, one of my favorites. See, I also have, I don't look at myself as being a researcher. So when I see like Brown Dwarf and folks of his kind jumping in chat, who are actually true field investigators, who are going out there, they do the same thing I do, but they have their own flair about it. Brown Dwarf, I mean, he's 100% good guy. You know, he's a very smart man who contributes a different outlook to this field. He's not just running around in the woods with the camera. When you get to talk to this gentleman, he has ideas that I've never heard before that he's applying to his own research, and they're yielding fantastic results. He doesn't get as much, I don't think he seeks it either. That's why he's another one of my favorite, but he doesn't get as much attention on his channel over there as I think it deserves. I want to see him have 80,000 subscribers. Anyways, Brian Colsty, Tater Plays, and I'm sorry, folks, I'm stopped up and I'm ill prepared for this, but I wanted to talk to you guys. I missed you. Terry Jones, who helps us keep the Facebook part of it straight. Mr. John Paul Shelton, who I've had the pleasure of speaking to once or twice, I believe, on the Facebook side. Great guy. Timmy Ligon, my brother from down there in Louisiana. Maury Reeves Jr., my boy Tater Plays, my co-host of The Late Show. Lori Murdy, Mike Smith, the Daywalker 204, and Mr. Tim Redmond. Glad you all joined me. I hope everything's going well. Everybody's preparing for an awesome weekend. It's beautiful down here. Went from 30 degrees to 60. And hopefully by the time Kerry and his crew get down here, we'll have somewhere between 40 and 50 degrees. I want him to have activity, just like when, you know, the chasing Oklahoma Bigfoot Chasing the Beast crew came down. When somebody comes into one of my areas, or if I'm leading an expedition, I'm not just going to point out structures. That's all well and fine. Don't get me wrong, folks. You can. Oh, what's up, Dick Richards? I didn't see you sneak in. Sorry about that. I don't want to just point out that these creatures occupy an area. I want these people to experience the creatures as I have. Speak of the devil, and he should surely show himself. Mr. Bigfoot Odyssey himself, Kerry Arnold, folks, in the chat with you guys. I'm talking about you, Bubba. When you come down, it's all well and fine. You'll see definitive stuff, but I want you to experience the same thing that everybody else has. And I think big shout out to my boy Chuck Schlabs, too. He really expanded what I thought was a broad, but it was a very narrow view of this field. He showed me that it doesn't matter how many people you have in your group when you go out there. These creatures are going to do what they want to anyways. So if you have people that are all of the same mindset and all have good hearts, then they're going to do the exact same thing that they did when I was out there by myself. And sure enough, they did it. Hey, Larry and Candace Hill, Lady in the Woods, and Mr. Ronnie Smith. I've not seen you here before. Welcome to Bigfoot Dogman Research Project, sir. Christy Monster Truck Gal. Anyways, so and if I miss you guys, I promise I'll jump back in chat and I'll give you a shout out. But yeah, and you know, every show I'm always commending you guys because honestly, I couldn't be that guy who puts out the recorded interviews, who never goes down and responds to anybody in the chat. I'm not going to mention names, but you who follow this subject, all you got to do is go to someone's channel and you'll know exactly who it is. There's no interaction between the people that are pushing them forward whatsoever. And that's one thing that I adamantly try to do at every turn. The Christy Monster Truck Gal, Tater Plays, Lady in the Woods, Brian Ritchie. You can ask any of these people. More than likely, if you get a hold of me and I know that you have a problem or that you're not going to probably kill me or something, I'm going to talk to you on the phone. I don't like texting and going back and forth in email. Terry Jones is another great guy. He started off as just a subscriber. So he's one person I'm proud to call my friend now. But you folks, and you've heard me say this before, but you've been dealt a disservice. You've been dealt a bad hand, especially you folks who are dealing with this stuff when you're ignored, when people just give you some brush off answer. And I hear this time and time and time again. That's how Bob and I became such good friends. He gave his encounter to the BFRO. And I'm just going to mention the name. I'm not going to beat around the bush with it. He gave his encounter with the to the BFRO. They edited it severely. They took out, and this guy, a career military man, he knows how to write a report. He knows how to write down his experience. And it was fantastic. It was so detailed that I could print it out and go to the area that he had his first encounter at, and I could put my feet right where he was when he saw that big female. It's just that detailed of an encounter. But of course, they're going to say it's because of, you know, they don't want people going to location or whatever. But when you change the dynamic of someone's encounter, you're changing that encounter completely. You're being discourteous and dishonest to the person who put trust in you to put forth that encounter. Now, I'm not giving some just open-ended disregard or judgment of the BFRO. I've talked to a lot of those people over there. Great people. Fantastic field investigators, smart people. Smarter than me, a lot of them. So when I say that, I'm not downing any individual. I'm downing that organization. And this isn't the first time I've heard that, folks. And it won't be the last. I can guarantee you that. When you take someone's encounter that they're putting trust in you to start dissecting and pulling information out to give them a better understanding of what they went through, when you start playing with that, then you're playing with something that's extremely, how do you put it? A lot of times when you have an encounter, for those who don't know, it becomes a catalyst in your life. I can remember my first encounter a lot better than I can remember my birthday. It's an extremely important event in someone's life, and it changes a lot of people's life. A lot of people deal with PTSD. I'm one of them. Bob's one of them. He's told you that numerous times on this show. When you start fiddling around with that, you start fiddling around with people's trust. And I'm not a respecter of that. I don't know if I'm making any sense to you folks. Like I said, this was one of these last minute things. I'm going to move again, for anybody who's donated $1 in the past year to the PayPal account, then you'll get a link. I have all your emails. You'll get a link to this video that I've put together that's exclusively for you guys. So, and again, that's just to show appreciation. I'm going to move that until tomorrow night. Some people asked me to give them a day or whatever. So that's what it's going to be. Aside from that, the documentary that Carrie's shooting, and this guy, I'm telling you, he's going to be the Alfred Hitchcock of this thing. They're going to look back and they're going to say he's the Werner Herzog of Bigfoot, because He's going and doing what Bigfoot, Finding Bigfoot and Bigfoot Mountain Monsters and all these TV shows try to do, but they put too much production and company interference into it, network interference. He's doing that without any of those shackles. And he's doing it because he respects the people and because he loves the subject. And he wants the awareness out that these creatures not only are real, but they can, in some instances, be violent. That's just the sad truth of it. So, again, Mr. Glass, who came down to the August expedition in Brown Springs, me and him are going to be going out probably the whole month of December. So, yeah, that's something cool. And for anybody who wants to, before tomorrow night, I'll throw that in the chat with you guys, to paypal.me/BDRP. Anyways, getting back in here with my folks. We got Matthew LaFleur snuck in on us. I promise you guys a show with this man. He's had an encounter, and a month went by, and I apologize to him publicly. A month went by. I need to get him in here with us. This is another one of these career military guys carved out of stone. I mean, this guy's carved out of stone. He's a survival expert is what I like to call him. I'm sure he wouldn't say that about himself, but this man has enough knowledge. He doesn't need to be on some podcast or a YouTube show. He needs to write a book, because the knowledge that he's accumulated over a lifetime of being a woodsman, an outdoorsman, his military career it would benefit a lot of people. I do believe that. Bigfoot Memphis, Brian and Cindy Lang, Leon Mohan, another good guy. If it's the guy I'm thinking of, he's a fantastic artist too. Mark Roberts. Anyways, brother Matt Niven. Good to see him in there. My cousin from down under. Yeah, and you're right, Brian. We need to have another conversation. It's always a pleasure, sir. Anyways, so what do you guys got for me? Like, what's new? What's new in the cryptid world? I've been hammering away at these specials. And before I forget, I'm going to put a link down in the description below of the new channel. This is the channel that's going to have all of our cryptid files on it from now on. I'm going to separate the two. The BDRP is strictly going to be my field investigations and the late show and the AM show and the BDRP Funhouse and some cryptid files. But I'm pulling all the cryptid files and uploading them to this channel, and this is going to be our narration-centric channel. The thing about it is, with the narrators who came and gave you descriptions of these creatures and whatnot, this is going to be strictly, and I've gone back through all these old emails that I put a star next to. These are going to be strictly from you guys, from your experiences in the woods, from your encounters that you shared with me. I've changed the names, changed the locations to a certain degree. And not only that, but they're going to be Kirk Stokes' experiences, my experiences, Bob's experiences. You may not know that when you're listening to it, but everything you're going to hear is going to be based on a true story. So I'm really excited about that. I've been doing a lot of recording. Texas sent his second part up, and that'll all be uploaded to the new channel. At any rate, the BDRP and our new channel, which I've named the Cryptid Intelligence Alliance, that's actually up and running now. It has the trailer, and that's about all. But the BDRP Europe's going to be loaded, and both are going to be full of content. The BDRP, I want to actually have enough content to keep people interested throughout the months. I won't have to mess with it anymore, if I'm being honest. So Bigfoot Odyssey said, "Did you get started on the shot list for next week?" Yes, sir, I did. I got started on, and I've written it in such a way so we won't be just running around in circles. You're going to get to see where I had my first experience. You're going to get to see where I was bluff charged. You're going to get to see, everyone's heard me talk about the big alpha male. You're going to get to see the location that I saw him. You're going to get to see, and this is going to be pointed. This isn't just me walking through the woods. This guy's a director. He knows what he's doing. I'm leaving it all in his hands. I'm giving him the reins, which is hard to do, but I've mentally and spiritually prepared myself for that. So I think I'll be okay. Yeah, Tony Hill. I'm moving stuff around. I'm opening a new channel because I don't know if you heard. I've been on about it because it pissed me off. But they've demonetized the main channel based on me uploading or re-uploading rather someone else's original content, which is whack. Everyone who's been on this channel for longer than 4 months knows that that's not what I do. So I've written an appeal, and it's the burden of proof is on me that all the cryptid files, everything that I've used any kind of copyrighted material in, falls under the guidelines of fair use, which it has. You know, people who have been on YouTube a whole lot longer than me and know a whole lot more about the operating of YouTube between creators and the actual YouTube entity or whatever as your boss, they said that everything that I've done falls within the parameters of fair use. None of it has been monetized whatsoever, so I'm not making money out of it. As a matter of fact, if I'm using any material to reshape and form something new, the copyright holders are getting paid for that, which I thought was pretty awesome. You know, if I'm using a Nine Inch Nails song or a Tool song in one of the cryptid files, I do believe those bands should get some sort of monetary gain out of it. It's not about that to me. I just love doing it, and I like meeting the narrators, and I like the fact that you guys dig it. So I'm not going to stop that. Actually, that the BDRP Europe and the new channel, the CIA, will not be monetized whatsoever. So I won't have to deal with that nonsense. And you know, I'm still fighting the good fight on this side of it with our main channel, but I think it'll all work out. No copyright strikes whatsoever against the channel, and no community guideline strikes. So it's weird, but it's not unheard of. I think somebody said it's like truth control, which, you know, it is awful strange that we started. If I was strictly coming on here and interviewing somebody and saying, "Welcome to the Late Show, folks. Tonight's guest is blah, 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 blah. He had an encounter with a blah, 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 blah." And I let them filibuster for 45 minutes. And then, well, thank you for that great encounter. Good night. If I did that lame nonsense, I'd be perfectly fine. You know what I mean? But that's not what we do. I want to talk to people. I want to get down to the bottom of it. I actually want to use my mind to decipher information. So sometimes that comes with telling things that a lot of people don't want told, I guess. Who knows? But I'm not going to stop. They're not going to kowtow me into being bland, and they're not going to make me quit. So, I mean, that's not a host, folks. When I was growing up, I got to see Johnny Carson before he retired. For whatever reason, I wanted to. That's why I called it the Late Show. I think a lot of you know that. I wanted to host the Late Show. It was just, it was awesome to me that he was having all these conversations with like Mr. T and these wrestlers and actors and whatnot. He wasn't sitting there, "Oh, my name's Johnny Carson. I'll be quiet now, and the guests will talk about an experience that you can superimpose anybody else into that position and hear the same thing." Nobody wants to hear that. I mean, that's why I commend Crypto PTSD. I commend him for the fact that he's actually talking to people. He's picking their brains. You know, he's not just sitting there and letting them have their little counseling session for an hour and going about their business. He's actually talking to the people about how they feel about their encounter, what emotions came up, what their thoughts are about it, what may have led to it. I respect that. Tim S., if you have anything for me on this subject, you can email me. My personal email is ddos, DEEDOSS13 or Bigfoot Dogman Research @gmail.com. But folks, like I said, I've been well blessed on this channel. I've been blessed to meet fantastic people who I consider some of my closest friends, my brothers and sisters. Will the new channels be listed on the channels tab? Thank you, Larry Pinkston. They sure will. I'm still working out the kinks on the BDRP Europe, and like I said, I want to have that uploaded. And a big shout out to Kirsten, not Kristen. Big shout out to Kirsten over there in Germany. She's been hammering the field so hard that there's very well there is absolutely a month worth of material, brand new stuff that you guys have never seen that I can upload. Not that I want to leave it alone, but I want to focus. I want to focus on this channel and expanding it and doing new things. I mean, I'm ready to get on the road. You know, hosting the show and talking to you folks is awesome. But my bread and butter is going out there in the woods. I love it. It's my church. It's where I get close to God, not these creatures. That's just that's just an awesome side effect. But pardon me. Anyways, I'm supposed to check my messenger because I'm guessing I'm missing tons of stuff. At any rate, and and I'm not down it. Like the Cryptid Brothers, of course, Sasquatch Chronicles. Everybody loves those shows. They're fantastic. Again, as most of you know, when I started, I didn't listen to any shows whatsoever. It took me up until I think last year, the beginning of last year, or the end of 2016, to even figure out who the Outlaws were. I was more interested in the Kirk Stokes, the Scott Carpenters, the Brown Dwarfs, Seattle Sasquatch, you know, Bigfoot in Germany. I was looking at people's evidence, what they were actually catching out there in the field in conjunction to what I was catching, if that makes sense. I'm a field researcher, plain and simple, that loves people. That question says my bread and butter is in the fridge. Those bread and butter pickles are awesome. Can't eat a sandwich without them. But at any rate, let's see. What else you guys have for me? Good job, Woodbugger Farm. Woodbugger Farm, my boy. Brian K. Ritchie says you should contact Cole Rowland for music, D. He has a YouTube channel. He is amazing. I'll definitely do that. There's a lot of amazing YouTubers that just give their music away. And I actually use a lot of them, believe it or not. I'm a musician, you know what I mean? Play drums, banjo, violin. So if I hear a song that I like and I think it'll fit into the narrative, or I can throw it on an intro, that's what I'm going to do. And I don't want to stop that, you know, because it's fun. Scientific Phenomenon says, oh, come on, D, I just got here. Let's talk about why Bigfoot is dangerous. I still prefer talking about aliens. Okay, I can give you my thoughts on why I think Bigfoot could be dangerous. I don't think Bigfoot is dangerous at all because I used to be a Boy Scout and I made it home. The possibilities of Bigfoot becoming violent are real, but in my opinion, they're highly unlikely. On the spiritual side of it, I've had two different people who don't have anything to do with one another. And I find this strange. That's why I'm sharing it with you. They came to me and said, after they found out what I did, and I said, hey, you know, it's a real thing. I can take you out there. They're used to me. So more than likely they'll get close enough for you to see, or you're going to get the feeling of them being around at the very least. These two individuals both said, I'm afraid to go because I'm a bad person and I'm afraid they may kill me. No joke. Both of these people, two different occasions, they said that to me verbatim. I'm somebody who doesn't believe in circumstance, happenstance, luck. That's all hogwash, in my opinion. Nothing happens for no reason. So, SP, I know you're a spiritual man, even though you are absolutely a walking scientific magazine. There is that aspect to it that a lot of people don't talk about, which more people are starting to get into now. And I'd like to think not me, but you guys, because you want to hear it and you've pushed me forward. I think that's a lot of the reason why people are more apt to talk about it now. And also the spiritual aspect of it, as far as the ethereal beings go, are what Bob refers to as the others. there's some sort of a spirit being out there, some entity, fourth dimensional being, whatever anybody wants to call it, that is aping, for lack of a better word, these Sasquatch and Dogman. That's not, when Kirk and I started off, he put that in me, and that's something that's still in me. I don't want nothing to do with it, but I felt like, again, I was going to do you guys a disservice if I didn't talk about it, because it's happening. People are dealing with it. It's real. Woodburger Farm too, folks. If you go up to his name in the chat and click those three dots, you can go directly to his channel. Check him out. Everything he does is live. So when you're seeing a flash of black running in the background, or you're hearing like wood knocks, or you hear some sort of a grunt or something like that, unless he's like George Lucas's hidden nephew and he can do all these crazy special effects at a moment's notice, everything you're hearing is happening in real time. That's why, and honestly, I do bad because I don't get around and jump on people's channels as much as I was able to when I first started. And I feel bad because that's like how I really started the show. That's why I wanted to interview investigators, but I couldn't get that out because these guys are out there doing the same thing I am, but they may have a different methodology. They may have a different approach, but we're getting the same results if they're getting them on camera. So I wanted to start interweaving those bonds that we may not even realize that we have. It's all, community is about togetherness, and that's another thing that I'm glad that you guys have done. I haven't done it. I've just been myself, but you've actually put the community back in cryptid community and Bigfoot community by going to these other channels, being respectful, being attentive. I've noticed that, and I'm proud of it. Proud of y'all. But anyways, I'm tired of ranting and raving. I guess I'll let you folks enjoy your weekend. I think that's everything that I'm pretty sure that's everything that I want to update you guys on. But yeah, long story short, SP, if you go in with respect, you will get respect back. You'll get the respect of being allowed to walk back out of there, because as much control as we convince ourselves we have, they are in control. They're the boss of the woods, literally. If they were these ultra violent things like you hear a lot of narrators talk about, these monsters, then nobody would make it out of the woods and they wouldn't be caught. But anyways, guys, check your email this weekend. Saturday night, you'll have a special present from DDoS and staff. I love you guys. You have a fantastic weekend. If I don't talk to you about Thanksgiving, eat a turkey leg for me.